When last we left our hero, I tried to install Bazzite on an Intel i5 6500 with an RX 6400 video card, low profile, 4 gig. And I did do some testing with Windows first, and I thought, you know what, we'll go ahead and try this Linux distribution with Bazzite and see how it goes. The last time it didn't really go that well, but I went back and put a different version on. Okay, so that different version is actually the Steamdeck version that I installed, and it even when you go look at the ISOs or you go to look at the packages when you go to download this distribution, one of the things it tells you is that it might not work with the hardware that you're trying to put in. And I told it was it was an AMD 6400 XT, and evidently there are some little minor differences or little minor wrinkles that might have some compatibility issues. Now, I knew that I already liked the operating system before. I thought it was very smooth, very quick, very responsive, and similar to a Windows type operating system that I was very familiar with. But I mean, I've got some Linux background too. Obviously, I work with, I'm a software engineer, so that's one of those things. But in my day-to-day, every other day stuff, I'm dealing with Windows quite a bit. So this was very, very much easy, and it was an easy transition. But the game playing with Steam was a little bit of a hiccup. Not with this other version. By using the DEC ISO, the AMD DEC ISO, and then installing that, I found that this worked out pretty well. Now I'm not going to say it was better performance in every way that the Windows 11, or I'm sorry, that the Windows 10 install was. It was comparable, and in some cases it was better. All right, so I'll take a minute or two to show you guys these results, and we're just going to I'm not going to concentrate on them too much because it performed similar. It did a little bit better in Windows than it did in Linux. But that went kind of back and forth. These were tested on Windows 10, and the Linux distribution, of course, is this Bazzite distribution. So I just wanted to kind of, after we got this going, and the setup was really, really easy. I mean, none of these games failed in the Bazzite, the Steam OS type setup. So I was really, really surprised there, and really very happy. It worked so much easier than the first time I tried this a couple of weeks ago. Well, a week and a half ago. But so much easier. And like I said, even Black Myth Wukong and Monster Hunter Wilds both ran on this PC. They didn't run really well. Maybe you can turn the resolution down, but I was pretty surprised they ran on that RX 6400. Whereas the Windows would not. And I didn't expect it to try to run that or Black Myth Wukong, and it ran them both. So I'll kind of give a little bit of a comparison, and I'll show a little bit of that clip to prove that, yes, it did run that. But I was really surprised that the Windows didn't even run it at all, and that the Bazzite version could. Now, it ran it on very low, and it didn't look good, but it ran. And so it gives me hope that this platform, even though it's older and Windows 11 will not support it, and Windows 10 is going out, so they won't have official support, that we can still get something out of these older CPUs. And there's nothing wrong. It's a 4-core, 4-thread CPU that runs pretty well, pretty solid. And if it was in a different platform with a better video card, might be very, very good. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and try also. I'm going to do this. I think I might have mentioned before in the other video. I'm going to go ahead and try this with the 7700 that I've got. I've got an i7 7700 that's in a bigger case in an Optiplex, and I think I'm going to run the RTX 3050 in that. That will also give me an opportunity to see the NVIDIA Bazzite solution or ISO or implementation, so I can kind of get a read on that, see if that gives me the same problems that the original AMD one did, or that if it works as well as this DEC version. I don't think I'd be able to run the DEC ISO. I think I'd have to run the NVIDIA flavor. But gives me something to try to do and work on. Who knows? It might work. If nothing else, I do have an RX 480 and an RX 580 2048, basically an RX 570. I do have both of those that I can throw into this build with the 7700 and try another AMD build to see how it works. Because technically, that RX 480 and 570, or 480 and 580, not really they don't really have driver support with AMD anymore, so maybe the Linux version will have decent driver support. Who knows? I'll give it a shot. I'll try it. But that is all I have for this time. If you got anything out of the video, go ahead and throw a like on it if you don't mind. Don't forget to visit the socials. Please, if you're not already subscribed, please do. For some reason, subscriptions have like leveled off and plateaued. I don't know what's going on, but if you're not already subscribed, please do if you don't mind doing that. Like I said, hit the other socials. If you don't want to do any of that stuff, that's fine. I appreciate you watching, but just do me one favor, and that's just be good to each other. Say hi, wave, hold the door open, smile, good evening, something. I don't know. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. And you never know when you might make somebody else's day. And it might even make you feel better too. So anyway, that is all I have for right now. I do have other stuff going on, a couple of builds I'm working on that we'll see if we can't maybe venture a little bit into the PC sales business. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll take you guys along at least one of those adventures. But until next time, or until then, till I get myself into something I got no business getting into, that's all I got. So I'll see you later.